Hey guys, it's time for another kicking off the week, and I just wanted to share with you today some plugins that are free for download, some distortions that are really nice and that I like to use either in my tutorials or outside of my tutorials. And of course I'm going to give some audio examples for the distortions, and I'm going to explain a little bit how to work with the plugins so you don't start out in the dark completely, and the plugins start making sense a little bit when you download them. And the first plugin I wanted to share with you guys is Devastator. Devastator is a nice plugin that works with 3 filters, as you can see. These filters have a distortion on them, and you can just kind of use this Devastator plugin as an EQ and a distortion at the same time. So what I mean with that, you can take certain parts of your till and really emphasize them by putting a bandpass over them, or for example putting a high cut on the sound so you really only have the growl of your till. Let me just show you a little bit with it. So you have 3 filters over here and different types of distortions. I like to put the first filter to pre, and then I'm just gonna play around with these 4 settings and just see what sounds right. So let's put it on low pass, for example. And we're gonna cut a little bit of the highs. And maybe pull up the resonance a little bit. Now we can use the second filter to just play with that sound a little bit more. Try to move that in a sound, move that till in the way that we want it to, so it sounds nice. And of course there's so much more you can do with this. Start playing with the pre and the post for the filters, so the filters are behind the distortion. But when I've kind of settled in Devastator for what kind of sound I want, I always tend to open up another distortion, and it's another free one. It's called Distortion, and I just like to use Distortion to completely destroy my sounds. So it starts off with settings like this, I think, and I just turn up the distortion, the wave shaper, and the min-max all the way, and just see how it plays with the sound. So this was before we had the distortion on there, and it still sounds a little bit warmer, and distortion just really is a good plugin for really destroying your tills. So it's a lot more gritty, and that's nice for your tills. Then if you put an EQ in between it, you can really just make a nice sounding till with it. Now of course, because this kick is quite destroyed right now, I just export this and layered it under the original kick, so you can really create a more fat till with just these 3 little plugins on there. Just 2 distortions and 1 EQ. On to the next, and this one's quite basic, and you've probably seen it in a lot of my tutorials if you've been watching them. If you haven't watched all my tutorials, I really recommend you do, because there's a lot to learn from them. Distortion is just a basic distortion unit with a hard clip, a soft clip, a bit crush, and some resonance on the filters that are in the distortion unit. So the tone at the top is kind of working like a low cut, so you can, let me show you, really cut all the lows below 4500, for example, right now. And that just creates a dirty high end, which you can play around with this and see how your till will shape. It just moves the till around a little bit, and it's nice to use. Then you have the mode, and that's just basically the amount for the low cut. So how steep the angle is gonna be of the low cut. and the symmetry is just working on the distortion. I can't really explain that because that's not my cup of tea, so I won't even try to do that. Yeah, the hard clip is just a nice distortion. You can turn it up all the way and still really get some nice sounds out of here. Or you can turn up the soft clip and it still sounds nice. It's just a nice distortion unit that you can really use to push your kick, make it a little bit more crunchy, and yeah, just 9 out of 10 times it will really work magic on your kick. And if you feel this distortion is a little too gentle when you're using it, notice that the mix is on 50% at the first time when you open it. So you can always open it more to create a more aggressive distortion. Now this one is another one I want to share. It's FILTERBANK. And FILTERBANK is, you can download FILTERBANK, the demo of it for free. And it just has massive power in it, and you can make filters move inside of the plugin, so it can make your till move really nicely. So let me just show you. Opening up a new FILTERBANK, and you just press reset, so it's clean all the way, and open it to the tube amp, and just open the distortion like a little bit more. And so we get from this, which is a more gentle till, to a more aggressive till. And now this is nice, but you can really use these filters in here to just emphasize the parts of the till that you want again. And now if you thought you've done everything with your EQs or the filters in the plugin, you can even make those move. If you have this oscillator over here, put it to filter 1 for example, and put this to 2, so it moves an entire cycle in 2 counts. Just put this up a little bit. As you see, this filter will start moving. And what this does, it will just create some sick movement in your tills, and you can really use this nicely. And the demo version only has 10 minutes before it goes on mute, but really if you just work on this, export it, and then save the sample, you can really work nicely with this kick. And if you even want to go further, you can even make the Q move, for example, in this thing. So it's really versatile, and you can just really make this move in a sick way. Working together with the distortion, you can really create some nice sound effects and tills as well. And the final one I want to show you is called DISTO-FX. And DISTO-FX is just an awesome aggressive distortion unit. And I like to use this for creating the extra crunchy layers to then put underneath my cleaner kick, so you could create some fat results with it. And the way I just use it is with the initial preset, it mutes the audio because I think it's just a warning for people that it's a quite loud plugin. So you just press it to the second, open up the amount, and what I really like to use for my own kicks is just use this bit crush to just create a nice crunch in your till. So starting out with this, you can really make this more aggressive. And now if we export this, for example, with not even too much stuff going on, it has really broken down that till, but that sounds nice when you put this underneath here. So muting that aggressive till, you got this, and with that aggressive till, it just comes to life way more. So you can really create some nice kicks with this, like this. Just put some reverb over here and you can really just create a finished and fat kick if you already had a nice character in your till. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked it and I hope you learned something from this, and I hope to see you back soon again. Cheers!